Now, Terry is Deloitte's Chief Innovation Officer, a core member of the firm's Global Innovation Network, and he leads Deloitte Canada's innovation strategy. Terry also leads Deloitte's financial services consulting practice in Canada. In 1997, Terry helped to create DC.com, the Deloitte North American e-business practice with centers in Toronto, New York, and San Francisco. DC.com helped traditional clients take advantage of leading-edge internet technologies. Now, Terry is one of Canada's top experts on innovation and productivity, and although he works chiefly in the private sector, I'm certain that many of the trends that he examines are equally revolutionary in public administration.
You know, where is AI going and how many jobs are going to be replaced with AI? I was sitting with somebody from the US government, and we bring 50 to 60 executives down to that. I was sitting with somebody from the US government, and this wonderful woman had been assessing the impact of AI, robotics, et cetera, on the US government jobs, not the general economy, but US government jobs. And she said, you know, Terry, we've assessed this very significantly, and there's over 500,000 jobs that will disappear in the US government in the next 1 to 2 years based on this technology. By the end of the meeting, she said, I think we may have it wrong by a factor of 4. So you start to think about all the jobs, all the implications that are going, and that's AI and then robotics. How many of you watched the Jeopardy when Watson, IBM's Watson technology took on Ken Jennings and the other folks? How many of you saw that? So that was a year and change ago now, right? And IBM, you know, in my day, it was, you know, Big Blue versus Kasparov, right? And that was revolutionary, that a computer could beat one of the best grandmaster chess players. So in the Watson example, though, in a very, very difficult, soft logic kind of way in Jeopardy, Ken Jennings won Jeopardy 26 times. This is one smart dude, right? And he got smoked by Watson. So what was interesting in that is the computer could absorb all the information, could deal with all the contextual sensitivities, and very quickly respond. So what IBM is now doing, and with us and with other partners, is saying, how do you take that capability and go after the world's really tough problems? So medicine. How do we have Watson actually trying to solve diagnostics? And they're doing some amazing things in cancer research in that whole area. The law practice. If any of your kids are going through for law, not sure it's going to be around. So let's figure that one out. But better, by the way, safer job maybe than taxi drivers. So we'll come back to that one in a sec. But so AI is a big deal, and deep machine learning is fundamentally changing the game in terms of how that goes. Robotics. How many of you seen Baxter? Anybody seen Baxter? This is a very cool video. Go on TED.com or on one of the YouTube channels. Baxter is a $22,000 robot that it doesn't have to be programmed. You just move its arms around, and press record, move its arms around, and then press replay. So you can have a factory that's driving something to produce a particular widget, and then the next week you can say, okay, different widget now, we need something else. So that robot costs $3 per hour to run, including electricity, $3 per hour. So the good news is, think about all the manufacturing that got shipped off to India and China that now could possibly be done here in Canada. Not sure, we had the discussion out in the break, not sure the jobs are coming back because it's a robot, right? But it's very interesting. That robot, if you watch it, it has sentiment. It actually has eyebrows on the little computer screen and a little smile and so on. If you walk around it, it is aware that somebody's walking around it and adjusts and stops and does stuff. So very interesting dynamic. 3D printing. 3D printing, this is the interesting thing about technology, and the interesting and the very sneaky thing about exponential technologies versus linear technologies. 3D printing has been around for how long? 5 years, 10 years? 30 years. 30 years ago. But it's only now starting to hit the knee of the curve of the exponential capability. Everybody talks about 3D printing, and it gets overhyped a little bit. But everybody talks about, oh, it's all about prototyping and toys and, you know, manufacturing guys trying to prototype stuff. 38% of the products that are 3D printed today are in production. So they're in something that is in the final consumption, like F-35 fighter jets that have 4,000 3D printed parts, like devices for the International Space Station. And let's get icky. So food for the astronauts going up can be 3D printed now. Organs, skulls, are being 3D printed for, surgery that has to be done. So it is pervasively impacting a number of different capabilities. Start to think about designs going online and being able to be 3D printed then at my store. So instead of Canadian Tire having to stock all this stuff, they have a really kick-butt 3D printer in the back, and they can actually throw out that little widget that, I don't know if you guys, anybody has power washers, that little widget always breaks that you hook up to the nozzle, right? That puppy is really expensive and takes a long time to get delivered to you, right? And they can't ever stock them at the store. So now it could be 3D printed anywhere. So you start to think about the implications of all these on our supply chains. Sensor technology, I think, is going to be very amazing. So machine to machine technology, so the machines talking to each other, whether it's cars talking to each other, whether it's your phone talking to the parking meter, any of those kinds of things. Lots of discussion on that, and it's going to have a fundamental impact on how we do our business. So all of those things, the issue is all of those things have dramatic, potentially dramatic employment implications. So just because we can doesn't necessarily mean we should. And how do we actually prepare our society for that type of impact? How are we training people? How are we thinking about the rules and the policies that we establish? And then how do we prepare our kids and our companies for that kind of a world?